It originated in India, went on to dominate the Western interiors and fashion, yet this humble fabric remains a chapter in the Indian history we seldom hear about. Namaste, my name is Mitra and I welcome you to Tejomay Bharat, Dazzling India, a channel to discover Bharat afresh. My commitment to you is that you leave here with facts, resources and research that will give you a new view, a new perspective of looking at our grand civilization. If you enjoy the content, make sure you leave us a comment, hit the subscribe button and share it with at least one other person. Now on our Crafty Wednesday series, we started looking at the story of Chintz. The guidance for this particular series comes from the young and enterprising Malvika, who's passionate about Indian handicrafts. She's also the brains behind the popular Instagram handle Indian Craft Hunt. So make sure you go and follow her on Instagram. In the last episode, we walked through the technically challenging and complex process of creating chintz, which is what made it such a prized possession. Now, if you've missed the previous episode, I will add the link in the description below. How did all of this influence trade and revolutionize fashion, you ask? Well, you see, the Indian artisans innovated to appeal to each of its distinct export markets. And up until about 1770, they dominated the world production and export of these colored cottons. The long history of India's chintz export to Egypt is well documented. Some fragments of this cotton have been carbon dated to be at least 1,000 years old. Iran in Central Asia was among the greatest importers of Indian chintz, and Iranian merchants were great traders in the cloth. Now, to please this particular important market, India's cotton printers and painters created novel forms such as prayer mats and designs built around cypress trees, architectural niches, and pious Islamic inscriptions. During this time of global trade, Indonesia was also an important market for Indian chintz. Precious spices such as nutmeg, mace, and cloves, which did not grow anywhere else in the world, the Indonesian traders demanded Indian textiles in exchange for these spices. So when Europeans began sailing to Indonesia from about 1500s, they were obliged to barter using the Indian cloth. It was only after Vasco da Gama reached Calicut in 1498 did the fabric really become known in Europe. Now by around 1600s, Portuguese and Dutch traders were taking back samples of the Indian chintz into Europe on a small scale. But the English and the French merchants, they began sending large quantities. So by 1650, about 1 million pieces of chintz were being imported into England each year, and a similar quantity was going to France and the Dutch Republic. These brightly colored cottons from India impacted not only how Europeans dressed themselves, but also how they furnished their houses. Because these early imports were mostly used for curtains, furnishing, fabrics, and bed hangings, and also bed covers. When it was time to replace the furnishings, the oh so benevolent masters gave this fabric to the maidservants. But the maidservants turned them into dresses, and that was the beginning of a fashion revolution. So if everything was going so swimmingly well, why did the French and the English ban the use of this fabric? And how did they get their hands on the secret of making this fabric themselves? We will explore this in our next episode of Crafty Wednesday. If you've derived value from this research and information, please make sure you subscribe to this channel, leave a comment below, and like I said before, share it with at least one other person. Because these are our stories in our voices. Let's own it, wear it, be unapologetic.